Hi everybody, welcome back to our second episode of Chloe and Michelle Do Life. We hope you enjoyed the first one. I'm a bit croaky today, got a little bit of a cold, about my third cold since December, doing really well. We thought we'd continue with this week is Valentine's Day. So we touched on dating last week, didn't we?
We did.
We touched in a big way on dating and my brilliant story, which has continued to make us laugh all week. So we thought we'd carry on with that and keep it fun this week with the good, the bad and the ugly, with some of our dating stories, which I have a lot.
Loads.
I have a lot. Yeah, I have a lot. So I'm trying to think, where do I start? Do I start with a good one or a bad one? I've got, my stories actually kind of go across. Some go from good to bad. I'll start off with, I'm trying to think, maybe one of my more random, one of my most spontaneous date was a guy that I was speaking to on Instagram. I love this story actually, I think it's really cool. I was chatting to this guy on Instagram and we were chatting over a Thursday daytime and I was going out that evening and he was like, oh, message me when you get home. So I did. And it was late, it was about 11:30 or something by the time I got home. And I wasn't free for something like a week or whatever with the kids. I couldn't meet him for about a week. And he said, and I love this, he was like, I don't want to wait a week. And I don't know about you, there's nothing worse than speaking to somebody for ages. And then you meet and you're like, there's no chemistry there, or you don't fancy them. And you just say, oh, I've just wasted all this time. So I'm quite up for a quick meeting. So he goes, what are you doing tomorrow morning? As in, I'm going to the gym. He's like, I'm going to David Lloyd in Chigwell. I'll be done by like 7:30. Meet me before I go to work.
Oh my God.
This is at 11:30 the night, so not even 12 hours. Like not even 12 hours difference. And I was like, oh, 7:30. And you know when you're just in one of those moods, I just thought, fuck it. Why not? Like, why not? Like, we're really in the moment. The kids aren't here. I'm not busy at 7:30 on a Friday morning. Like, why not? So I said, yeah, fine. Like, let's do it. And he literally turned up at my house, 7:30 on the dot. God knows what the neighbours must have thought. One of the things I loved about it, I thought to myself, 7:30 in the morning, I do not have my hair done. I do not have makeup on. Like, this guy.
There's a theme here with the morning.
Oh, like that was my story from last week of Sadie knocking on the door in the morning. The morning is my time. So I was like, he can take me as he finds me. I'm not putting makeup. I think I maybe put a bit of mascara or something on. I'm not putting makeup on. My hair's like going to be like this. I literally was in pajamas or something. And yeah, he turned up at 7:30 and he rocked up. Is there a Costa or something? I'm sure it was Costa Cups. Or so, he had coffee from somewhere, David Lloyd.
Costa,
yeah. And I thought it was really cute. He turns up with these 2 coffees and he's like, I don't know what you drink. So this is a latte or whatever, and this is a cappuccino.
No way.
But yeah, you take whatever you want.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool. And then he like whips out of his pocket. He's like a personal trainer type person, so he's like casual. Whips out of his pocket these 2 pots of like yogurt and granola. It was like breakfast.
Nice.
And I quite liked that. So yeah, that was literally 7:30 in the morning, me sitting in my pajamas and like a robe or something. And yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun.
That's really cute.
And I had a little snog by like 9:30. That's novel, isn't it? Not many people can say that you met someone like,
Was that the first time you met?
First time we met.
That's wild. That is pretty wild.
We'd only spoken for the first time the day before. It wasn't even, everything about it. It wasn't like we'd been speaking for a few days. Like we literally, I think he started following me. I followed him back. And then he slid into my DMs. All on the Thursday during the day. Yeah, by Friday morning, 7:30.
That's impressive.
It's cool, right? He turned out to not to be the best guy, but I liked it. It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So that was my spontaneous one. I think that's really cool. I'd actually like to do more like that.
Yeah.
But when you've got kids, it's
I always
hard.
feel like the spontaneous ones, I'm like, if it's not worth your time, It's hard to find the time, isn't it? Where are the men that are just going to come over and like help me fold my washing? Like that would be really convenient
Chore
for
day.
me.
Chore day.
Yeah, come over, like walk the dog.
Do your garden.
I'll make some granola. It's fine.
Put your bins out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite liked that, and I reckon if I didn't have kids, I would probably be up for doing stuff like that way more.
Yeah, I think that is.
It's a really fun,
harder
like
to
in the
find time.
moment, you get to see whether you like them or not. There's no time wasting.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was my spontaneous one.
That is cool.
There was one day from last summer. I really liked this guy. This was how things can go from amazing over here to took a bit of a turn quite quickly. So me and this guy were talking for a few days, and then we arranged to meet. He was a really good guy, like really good catch, really like good job, you know, like the kind of guy I would want to marry, you know, like that quality, really good. So he was super gentlemanly. He's like, I'll come over to you, you know, I'll get on the tube. He works around Liverpool Street anyway. I'll get on the Central Line, I'll come to Loughton again. Anyway, we had the most amazing day. So good, in fact, that I think it got to about 11 or something. And he was like, I really should go because I don't want to risk like missing the tube. Me being me, as you know, and for anyone who knows me, I don't really know when to stop. I don't have a stop button. If I'm having fun, I want to carry on. I'm like, don't go yet. It's too early. You can always get an Uber. He's like, Rochelle, I don't know how easy Uber's from Loughton to... I can't even remember where he lived, like west somewhere. He's like, I don't know how easy this is going to be. This shows you how much I'd had to drink, because who does this first day? I knew he wasn't a psycho. I'm like, worst comes to the worst. You can just stay at mine. But at the same time, pissed as a fart, but at the same time, I'm like, no funny business though, there's no funny business. Yeah, exactly. There's often funny business. But I'm like, there's no funny business, just so you know, like you'd be on the sofa. I just wanted to keep enjoying my cocktails. So anyway, we stay on. And he ends up coming back to mine. And I'm like, no, this shows you actually how much of a gentleman he was. We got back to mine and we'd already kissed in the bar. We were getting on really well. And we're kissing at home. And if anything, I was the one that was probably being a bit like, don't you go anywhere. I was on my sofa. And he was such a good guy. He was such a gentleman. He was going, Rochelle, go up to bed. I've got the duvet for him from the sofa. He's going, go up to bed now. Like, go up to bed. It's good. Otherwise things are going to go too far. I'm not doing it. I really like you. I see this going somewhere. Go up to bed. And I was a bit like, okay, I'll go up to bed. So drunk. Anyway. He sleeps on the sofa, and the next morning I'm thinking, oh my God, like, again, recurring theme, is he still there? Has he like nicked half my house and done another? Like, who knows? Anyway, I'm in my bedroom and I can suddenly hear, I shit you not, this like yakking.
Oh, right.
Yakking.
He cleaned your house out then.
No, he hadn't cleaned my house out, but he was puking his
no.
guts up in my downstairs toilet. There's nothing less sexy than hearing somebody being sick, like someone that you don't know either. And I'm in my
bed. That's a wake-up call in itself.
Yeah, thinking, oh, that went a bit far. Last night, we were shit-faced. I had the hangover from hell. I can hear this guy puking up. I'm like, that's not hot. I really hope my toilet's like not like, these are the things I'm thinking, and I'm like, what do I do now? So I called down. I was like, I'm going to be really gracious, you know, I want to save his embarrassment, because how awful puking in someone's house. I'm not going to say anything. So I let a few minutes pass, and then I'm like, John, like, you good? Like, do you want to come up for a little hug or whatever? Like, next morning he might have hated me by then, you don't know. Anyway, this guy jumps into my bed, no problem, invited, all good. Bearing in mind that I know he's been being sick, but like I say, I'm being really gracious about it to save his male ego. I'm not saying anything. He then starts kissing me. Kissing someone that you know has been puking up, first off, is not, I mean, I couldn't tell. No, I couldn't taste it. I couldn't taste it. I couldn't say. You
Must
wouldn't have known.
rinsed his mouth
It was
out.
only because I could. Yeah, he probably did. Actually, Nate's got toothpaste in the
Oh,
bathroom.
okay,
He was probably
cool.
there.
That's what I would have been
Like,
doing.
with toothpaste. So anyway, so we're kissing, and then this guy is quite alpha in what I class as a true alpha way, like a proper guy, and I quite like that. It's my thing. Next thing I know, we're just kissing and having a bit of a hug, but that all quite normal. I think quite nice in the morning. Next thing, in a split second, it's gone from like, this is quite sweet, like, yeah, we still like each other. So he's got his hand on my throat. Now, I'm quite partial to a bit of that. I'm not going to lie, I don't mind it. Not proper choking me, like not dangerous stuff, but you know, a little squeeze. I quite like it. But not in the morning when it's the first time that you're having any kind of intimacy. It was getting so tight and so tight around my throat. I was thinking, you know, when it gets to, I was like, I'm going to have to say something in a minute. I was like, this is not cool. This isn't like a few dates in. This is like, you do not know me. And then luckily he stopped. And then at one point, then he's like kissing my back, or like then bite. Like I can't even remember, Chloe, what was going on. I think I was still drunk, if I'm honest.
A bit of violent assault.
It was rough. Like, it was rough. And I just remember lying in my bed thinking, all I was thinking was, it shows you how much I was not enjoying it. I was thinking, I need to get this guy to stop, because he's going to leave marks on me that my kids are going to see. And that was all I was thinking.
God, especially after the last one.
Literally, it was all I was thinking. And I'm kind of like trying to edge away, as if to say, enough with the back now.
Out on the street.
Honestly, it was wild. And I just thought, after that, I was like, if he would do that on basically the first.
That's worrying.
And that wasn't even like, there was no sex to come. We knew that. What could have been a really nice, like, just a bit of kiss and a cuddle. I was like, that escalated very quickly. Like, that's
Imagine
clearly...
as well if you were drunk and it happened, because you would have had less control over what was going on and stuff.
I dread to think.
That's worrying.
Yeah, so I was like, that's quite worrying. Like, that's
like
clearly...
it a little bit rough at times, but like not
the
like...
first time, and in the morning...
Breathing is quite nice.
Yeah, being alive.
I
Ideally,
like that.
I'd like to stay alive. Yeah, that was full on, and I was a bit like, wow, that went from kind of perfect gentleman, I'll come to you, paid the bill without me even realising.
Yeah, that's nice.
Very slick, yeah, to suddenly...
Like, am I going to die?
Yeah, am I going to die? And then my kid's going to wonder, who gave me a love bite recently? That my kids the next day were like, oh, that was my rugby player. That's
fucking hell.
my young rugby player.
How young?
23.
Shut the fuck up. I don't even go for 23-year-olds.
It was a poor judgment. It was, yeah. I don't even know how it happened. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Who does that? He ended up, kissing my neck or something. And the next morning, I was like, shit, I think I had two, like one here and one here. And I had a polo, I think I put a polo neck on or something. And then I checked, something happened, and I put my hair up, and I forgot they were there.
Oh God, it's like being a teen again.
Literally. And then in the kitchen after school, Sadie's gone, is that a hickey? And suddenly I was like, fuck.
Better straight to burn.
I said to her, I went, I straighten my hair with hair like this, like all over the place. I straightened my hair and I burnt it, and she just looked at me and went, yeah, all right, Mum, yeah, we know what that is. And I just thought, this is all wrong. I've got like a 14-year-old who is calling me out for having a bloody love. How embarrassing though? How embarrassing? Like, who does that? 23-year-olds.
Yeah. It's not the first one either, is it?
I don't know what's happened to me, Chloe, since getting divorced. Do you know what I think it is? I was actually a really, really good girl. When I was a teenager, I was a really good girl. Yeah, no, I was a really good girl. I didn't even lose my virginity till I was 19.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, I was a really good girl. And then I think that just getting older, suddenly being free in your 40s, when you're then... I think, I've said this before, I think something happens to women around 40. Like a real sexual kind of
awakening.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you suddenly, you don't really care about what you look like, but the insecurity that you have when you're younger of like, oh my god, he's going to look at that cellulite and you know, like all of that's gone. You don't give a shit. You know what you're good at. And I think suddenly being divorced, I've been off the rails. I've been off the rails. I'm very much back on the rails at the moment because I've been a really good girl, but I did go a bit wild. On the subject of acting like a teenager, do you remember the lovely builder opposite?
Oh my god, that was a whole thing. That was like movie worthy, wasn't it?
That was like, yeah. So I always say, like, you can still meet people in real life. So my neighbours opposite were having quite big building work done, weren't they? And on like day one, there's this builder, and I thought, oh, he's a bit of me. So I'd mentioned this to you, didn't I? And him and I had a little chat in the road, and we really, really did vibe. Like, we really got on, even to the point where my kids were like, Mum, you and that builder, like, that seems to be, like, that's how good it was. And do you remember, we were so excited.
Yeah, we were messaging about it all the time.
Like, we really thought, it was like, this is the start of something really nice.
Yeah.
And it was a slow burn, and that he was a real...
Which I love, by the way. Like, for me, a slow burn is like, that's everything for me. I want that. I want to get to know someone.
It wasn't working for me. No, Chloe, he was slow. He was slow.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Do you remember that weekend when he said to me, what are you doing this weekend? And I went, going out for a drink with you. And he was literally like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, yeah.
I was like, what?
He wasn't bringing it, but I do like a slow burn though. If
so we just get there
Actually,
eventually.
keep burning. Don't just let it go out.
Yeah, that was slow.
He went out.
Anyway, it did eventually kind of like started to... What happened? Did he come over one lunchtime to look at my door?
I mean, he kept coming for cups of tea, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did.
Cups of tea. He kept making himself...
There were reasons for him to be over here.
Yeah, but
he didn't even drink hot drinks. It was the others, and he'd be like, "Oh, can they have tea?"
Also, the house next door had offered their tea services, but they kept coming over. So he was making himself.
Yeah. But this is why I was very confused, because I was like, you're kind of giving out signs of like you're interested, but you're kind of really not doing anything. I think
he just wanted you to chase him.
Yeah, maybe, but it did all start to happen. And there was one afternoon, I got back with the kids, because he would finish around the time that we'd get back in from school. And he texted me and he was like, there's a field at the end of my road, isn't there? And he's like, come into the field. It was like being, bearing in mind that my daughter was 14. What was the theme on this one?
I don't know.
Sneaking around.
You know, like when it's like, oh my god, don't let Mum see, but don't let Sadie see.
It was like I was the teenager.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
So I've like snuck into the field. I didn't even say to my kids I'm popping out. I just thought they won't even realise. It was raining. And then we had like a little cheeky snog in the field. And again, he was actually, do you know what? I do tend to pick quite nice ones. I was like, why have you got me in this bloody field? He said, oh, I thought you kids are home. If you come like here, then they won't see. Like, he was kind of thinking, I wasn't even thinking about that. I like just snuck me at the door. It's all good. Yeah, we ended up behind the van.
Oh my god.
I mean,
it just reminded me of something.
Oh, tell me about. But I was thinking, like, if my neighbours ring doorbells, they'd have caught some good moments. We were on so there was like my house, then his van is opposite, then me and him are on the other side of his van. So blocked by his van, snogging on the bloody pavement. And then I'm like creeping back into the house, and I thought, this is wild. This should be my 14-year-old sneaking around with boys trying to hide from me, and I'm the 44-year-old.
Oh,
43 I was. I'm a 43-year-old sneaking around, snogging the builder. Yeah. What did it remind you of?
Oh, when I went out for dinner with someone who I didn't know that well, but we chatted. It was weird, like, we'd spoken on a dating site, didn't go anywhere. Then I was out one night and I saw him and was like, I swear that's him. And I didn't say anything. I think I just smiled and he didn't do anything. So I was like, oh, maybe he didn't recognise me, or maybe it's not him. And the next day he called me and was like, did I see you last night? And I was like, yeah. Then he was like, oh, do you want to go out? So I was like, okay. Like a couple of days later we went out for dinner. Nothing wild. But then he was like, do you want to go for a drive? So I was like, all right then. So we went for a drive. We were in High
That
Beach.
to me is code for like, do you want to go somewhere quiet and have a bunk
Oh
up?
yeah, like obviously.
Is it not? Like
Yeah.
surely.
But I was like, okay, right, whatever. I love drives. I love going
You
for
do.
drives. Pull up in this like blatant dogging spot. He's like,
Chloe!
do you want to go for a walk? I was just like, no. Do you want to go for a walk in the forest?
Hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm trying to process this. If you pull up to what is a known dogging spot, did you not think, like, he's going to expect for us to, like, I'm going to be bent over a bonnet in a minute while, like, 5 different guys have a go?
Listen,
I mean, you wouldn't have got me out there fast enough. You'd never see me move so quick.
Yeah, I probably should have got it. It'd been a while.
Chloe!
But he was like, do you want to go for a walk? I was like, what do you mean a walk? He's like, I don't know, we'll just go for a walk. He was like, I know a spot. Listen, it's just forest. Like in front of me is just forest. But he's telling me there's a trail. I wasn't thinking about
The dogging trail.
I thought this man was going to murder me. Like,
also a concern.
yeah, that was what I was going for. I was like, no, I'm quite happy, thank you.
Wow. What happened after that?
Went home.
So you didn't go for a walk?
No.
Didn't get bent
Did
over
I
a bonnet?
go for a walk? He could have been Ted fucking Bundy for all I know.
You went to the forest with him.
I didn't know we were going to the forest.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay, you didn't. Okay. I'm so
I thought
confused.
we were going for a nice drive.
Where was the dogging spot?
High Beach.
Oh, High Beach. By that pub?
There's loads of dogging spots there.
Shows
Go
you how naive.
there one evening, flashing lights.
Is it really?
There's loads
It must
of
be
them.
all over the Epping Forest.
Yeah,
It must be everywhere.
I think they've closed loads of the car parks now because of it. I'm assuming that's why.
Yeah, I'd have been very scared about that. How was this during the day or night time?
In the evening.
Oh my god, Chloe.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to start with you when you go on a date. So I'm
Find-
going to have to start
find my
tracking
friend,
you.
Yeah.
Start tracking
She's
you,
gonna
like,
laugh.
mummy, she's
Why is
heading
she gonna
towards the
walk
forest.
back?
What the fuck are you doing? Get out! That's quite worrying.
Do you know why I don't date anymore? It's because of shit like that.
I don't think I've ever had anything scary.
I did end up sleeping with him as well.
Chloe!
He had
Oh
a
my
beautiful
God.
piece. It was stunning.
Oh my god. She's probably going to kill me after saying this. She's really horny at the moment. I think this is why she's coming out with this
I wasn't ready
craziness.
for that.
You are though.
This was quite a long time ago that happened.
Have you still got his number?
No, no, I don't think so.
I actually, being really serious now, because I actually think this is a really important issue to address, that I hadn't even thought of this prior. I did have a scary... Do you remember the time I had matched with a guy on one of the dating apps? It was a Friday evening, we were chatting. And yeah, he was quite sort of persistent about meeting the next day. And same thing. My kids were with their dad, and I was a bit like, I'm not doing anything. So actually, yeah, maybe why not? And I don't normally do that because I'm not into talking for too long, but I want to talk enough to know that I want to meet you and that it's not going to be a waste of my evening, basically.
There's definitely a sweet spot.
Yeah, there's a sweet spot. So I was a bit like, again, probably being a bit spontaneous. Yeah, fine, why not? But it shows you there must have been an instinct or something that kicked in, because the following morning I woke up and I thought, I don't think I'm feeling this. I feel like this guy is very much looking for sex.
Yeah.
And I even texted him and I did the whole, you seem really lovely, but actually I think we're kind of possibly looking for different things. Like, thank you so much, but I'm going to leave tonight. And he somehow managed, and even to this day, you know me, I'm like the strongest person. I do not know how, but he somehow managed to convince me that I should meet him. Anyway, we went to a pub, we had a few drinks, it was okay. I was thinking, I'm not feeling this. Anyway, the long and short of it is that I was going to get an Uber home. He knew I lived nearby. He was like, no, I'll drop you. I had no reason to suspect anything bad about this guy. And I think I'm a really good judge of character and of scenarios and stuff. And I was like, there's no reason why I should be concerned by this guy. So anyway, he drops me home and he was like, can I just get some water? We walk into my house, my old house. My dog, first of all, starts barking in a way that I have never seen her bark at anybody.
You had bad juju.
100%. And I was almost embarrassed. I'm going to, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm saying she was like going wild. At the same time, I'm thinking, why is this dog? Because I do really believe animals and kids, and kids, they pick up
great instincts
on bad energy, right? So I go and get him this water. My old house, my living room was really long to my kitchen. And literally as I turned around with the glass, he was there. And anyway, yeah, he basically, it wasn't bad, like he went to kiss me and I said, I'm not interested. And I kind of went to push him. So I'm like up against my kitchen cupboards and the worktop. I went to push him away and he came back again. And he went to put his hand down my top at one point, and I kind of pulled his hand out, and then he went to grab the top of my jean. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad enough. It was bad enough. And luckily for me, this guy was actually unusually small in terms of his stature compared to what I normally go for. Not that, he could still be strong, and I remember just standing there and literally thinking, I'm not about to be fucking raped in my own house. No. It is not happening. You're not doing it to me. And I remember just pushing him and just saying, like, you need to get out of my house. Like, you need to get out of my house right now.
A lot of women, I think, would freeze in that moment.
100%.
Or, like, just accept it.
And you know what I thought after, and I got rid of him. And it really did shake me up, actually, to the point where I ended up even texting. Mark and I were still getting on. We're not so great now, but got on really well. And I remember even texting him saying, like, I'm a bit funny, isn't it? He was still kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
When something bad had happened.
Wasn't
he? For a long time. But I just thought, how fucking dare he? But what really freaked me out was that, so two things, and I thought, I reckon even a lot of women my age, that most women are not as mentally kind of strong and ballsy as me. I reckon a lot of women would have literally frozen, been too scared,
definitely,
not known what to say or do. And I even thinking of myself, would the 25-year-old me have been brave enough? He was a very, very good looking guy, very good looking. And I thought, you know what, a younger woman, I reckon, because your mindset changes a lot. I mean, you're unusually mature, and your thinking is like, I always joke that Chloe's secretly like 50 because she's way wiser than me. But me at 25, I might have been a bit like, oh, but he's really hot, and look, he wants me. He wants me, like, oh my God, how I should be so flattered.
When I was younger, though, I got myself into loads of those situations. And
really?
Yeah, it was very common. I don't know if it was like that when you were younger, but guys, when I was younger, they were just pigs. They would just take.
Maybe that it really shocked me though, but maybe because of my age. Maybe I didn't expect for a 40-year-old to be acting like that. So actually, all joking around about feeling sick, that was actually a really scary dating experience. And it was only afterwards I was like, I actually should have reported him on the dating app it was on. And what freaked me out even more was my friend Sophie, my lovely friend Sophie, who does makeup. I was telling her about this about, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks later. And she does a lot of younger girls' makeup. And she said to me, she's like, Rochelle, I hear this story all the time. And I was a bit like, what? She said, I hear this story all the time. And that's something I don't think that gets spoken about very often.
No, I agree. It's I think a lot of guys just put on the pressure in order to get what they want out of it. I had do you remember that guy? I don't even want to say his nickname because I think you would know it. the guy that I went on a date with, so we were meeting at a pub, and he was coming in from the city, and I was just going to drive down there, like local to me. He was coming local to me, and so because he was coming in from town, he was going to jump off the train near where the pub was. And when I was on the way, I was like, okay, like I'll see you in 5 or whatever. He was like, oh, you're not going to come pick me up? And I was like, instantly put off. Like,
Yeah,
do
that
you
would
want me
100%.
to? Do you want me to bring your lip gloss out as well? Like,
pick your outfit out for you.
So yeah, that was from the get go. But he very much just like, I don't know if it was just that he just missed social cues. Like, we were having a laugh and that, he was funny. I think I'd already kind of gathered that it wasn't going to be for
Not
me.
for
But
you.
I thought, hey, look, go out, have fun anyway. He hadn't really planned anything. Like, I kind of suggested where to go. Like, even from that, I probably shouldn't have
I
shouldn't have
wouldn't
even
even.
bothered. But I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt, because I was like, he's not from round here. Like, he's from round here, but he doesn't know this area so well. And because he was coming in from town, I thought, okay, you know, I don't expect him to know anywhere. But I mean,
Yeah, but you know,
still,
even
like,
then,
you
a
could
real
have
man
a
would be like, yeah, Google, look at
it's not
TripAdvisor. It's not hard.
But yeah, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, he just kept like, at one point we were like comparing height. He was definitely shorter than I expected, and I think he lied about it on his page.
But loads of them lie about their height.
And we were kind of doing a bit of and then he just leaned in for a kiss, and I was just like, no, like we're not there. But he'd done it multiple times, and I just found it so uncomfortable.
Yeah, how can you be this like big grown age and not be able to read?
Yeah, just
Like,
read the moment.
Yeah, read the moment. Read the room.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it? If you're both feeling it.
I talk about missing social cues. I went out with one guy who was my kind of age, so not a baby, and we went to a bar in Liverpool Street. And again, like, good job, you know, educated. I don't think he'd been married, but he'd been like in a long relationship, had a kid, like all the stuff that you would think would put him in quite a good place to have a good date, right?
Yeah.
He walked in, and my first thing, this wasn't a height issue. This was sound really awful. He walked in, and I was like, oh wow. He had this I don't know what to call it, like a beer belly, pot belly, whatever. Like, that's fine, but this was not visible in any of his photos. So first off, that just caught me a little bit off guard. But I'm like, okay, it was just a bit of a shock. And then I thought, this isn't an issue. If you're like, cool, this isn't an issue. We sat in this bar, and the first half an hour passed, and I thought to myself, this guy has asked me nothing. And then another half hour passes, and I'm kind of discreetly, because I'm sort of I'm thinking, how long have we been here? And it got to an hour and a half, and we had covered literally his job, where he lives, stuff to do with his family, his upbringing, his daughter, his previous relation. I mean, we had done it all. And he had not asked me. He'd not asked me one question, not one.
God.
And I sat there, and it was the slowest hour and a half of my life. And we sat there, and I thought, I'm not doing this.
Self-awareness to get that far and not have asked you one thing.
Well, lacking self-awareness. So I thought, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'd been on a date actually the night before, so to do 2 in a row, and both in Liverpool Street, I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And I sat there and I thought, am I going to do the kind of what we would usually do, which is either that I'm really sorry, I'm not feeling very well, I'm going to have to go, or run to the toilet and be like, Chloe, call me. And I just thought, no, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to tell him the truth. I'm going to tell him I'm leaving, and I'm going to tell him why. Because I'm not going to be like the bad guy that cut the date short. And I literally said to him...
The thing is, he probably would have gone on oblivious had you not have said that. Like, to me, I feel like I'd rather someone be honest with me. I know a lot of people don't feel like that, but like, I'd rather someone be honest. Like, blah, 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 this wasn't for me. Cool, I get it. If it's something that I was like not aware of, then maybe I'd want to change it. If it's something that is just part of me, then, you know, you're not for me, and that's fine.
He was totally oblivious. And I sat there, and I was really nice about it. And I said to him, I think I literally said something like, this is a little bit awkward. I said, but I'm actually going to leave. And I said, and I'm going to tell you, you know, like, we've been here for an hour and a half and you have not asked me a single question about nothing about my life. I said, do you know what I do? Do you know anything about my kids? Do you know anything about, like, you've asked me nothing. And his face, literally, he kind of went, and you could see, I mean, I think he was mortified.
But then that's going to be something that is going to be really helpful for him to hear.
He's probably single, like, you know, for a reason.
And you don't know why, do you?
And he did say to me, he was like, I'm so sorry. And, you know, I kind of thought the conversation was flowing. I said, it's flowing because I've kept it going.
Yeah.
I said, I'm run out here I've exhausted every question to ask you. There's nothing left. I said, there is no flow. I said, like, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm going home. And he was like, can we start again? Can we get another drink and start again? I said, I'm really sorry. Like, by that, can you imagine, by that point, I'm like, as if I'd want to be involved with somebody who has that little self-awareness. But yeah, so that was fucking wild, that one. I left, we'd met early. I think we'd met at like 5 or something. And I was walking out of there by about 6:40.
Oh my God.
I loved it. I got home. I was like nicely buzzed. I'd had a couple of glasses of wine over that time. And then I was like, I now get the evening to myself.
Yeah.
I put my pyjamas on. I think I got a takeaway. I watched a movie. I was texting you about it. I was like, I'm going to have a lovely evening by myself.
I'm such a firm believer, though, of, like, you can say anything if you say it the right way and it will not be offensive.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think you're really good at that as well, because you're very articulate. So you can kind of bring someone up on that without it coming across as muggy or rude. Like, as long as you say it in the right way.
I think as well, if you're telling the truth, you're never being nasty, because you're actually
you can be nasty.
You can be nasty. You can put a real, I could have been like, you're a fucking idiot.
What can you say to that? Like, he can't come back and be like, oh no, I've asked you loads. Like, it's blatant that he didn't.
Yeah, no, he didn't, and that's it. He couldn't even argue with it. So yeah, that was an experience.
I bet that was an eye opener for him.
It was a bloody eye opener for me. I mean, I think we've all been on dates where you've kind of been a bit like, oh, I feel I'm having to carry. But this was not one question for an hour and a half. That was another level of bad. But I have to say, towards the end of last year particularly, I had some really nice, I think as time has gone on and my filtering of men almost has become better.
So much better.
When I first became single, I think I was so oblivious to kind of like how shitty a lot of people's behaviour, men and women, and I hear this from, I'm obviously speaking from the point of view as a woman, but I hear men say to me as well, like, there are a lot of women out there doing this, doing that, and it's appallingly bad. So this is not a man bashing exercise at all. But I think I naively assumed that who in their 40s is out to fuck people out, who in their 40s is out to cheat, like, from the bit. Cheating when you're in a 10-15 year marriage, I'm not condoning it. I understand a little bit more how it can happen.
Though it is the point of, like, why do people cheat? Usually it's an ego boost, and you're like, you're not over that yet.
In your
like,
40s, grow up.
Are you that in need of attention at age 40 that you...
Do you require that much validation that you have to be getting the attention of loads of different women rather than one good woman?
But obviously the answer is no, we're not over it.
Shocking.
Yes, I do need the validation.
Yeah.
Yes, I need the ego boost. Yeah. Which is just bizarre. So of course we're going to be shocked about that.
So I think for me it was like, oh my God, there are people out there really behaving badly. Whereas, and I gave pretty much everyone a chance, didn't I? Like literally, I gave everyone a chance. Even when I probably knew deep down. See, this is where for me as well, because I'm not stuck up, I'm not snobby. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how much money you earn. At first, I think you seem cool. I will literally give anyone a chance. But yeah, I've learned the hard way that I've had to become much. I guess you're just putting in boundaries and knowing myself what I want. And I have one of my last dates of last year was the guy who, what happened there? We spoke and got on really well. And we didn't think we were going to be able to meet. That was it, because we didn't have similar times that we were free. Anyway, I said, I don't think this is going to work. And he said something like, that's such a shame. You seem wonderful. And I was a bit like, what a lovely thing to say to somebody. Anyway, I thought, no, we need to make this work. He seems really cool. Anyway, so we did. And that became we spoke for about a week before we met, and that became like his sort of thing, like, oh, you're wonderful. And he said, oh, I really think something's going to happen with you. Like, I know what your message in your first bouquet of flowers I ever get you will be. Anyway, same as with the other guy, came to Epping, took me somewhere lovely, sorted it all out, lovely. And when I got there, there was this massive bunch of flowers on the table with the card inside, Dear Rochelle, you are wonderful.
Oh, that's lovely.
First date, and not shitty little flowers like from the florist in Bushy.
No Tesco flowers.
Do you know, I actually don't mind Tesco flowers, but I think if you're gonna, boys, this is one for you. If you're gonna do the flowers on a first date, do it properly or don't do it at all. But yes, that's a nice little story to end on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really.
And as I've become stricter with my filtering, the quality has gone up, and they've been more like that. They've been more good ones. So yeah, I think the long and short of it is, if you are going to do online dating, be prepared for the good, the bad, the ugly, the wild, all of it. Anyway, guys, I hope you have had a nice Valentine's, whatever you did. By the time you watch this, it will have been and gone. My fourth one she's my Valentine, my Galentine. Anyway, have a great week, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care, bye.